Okay.
You can see me. Yay.
So first of all, I wanted to say, I mean, thank you for doing this, and thank you for trusting me to talk to me about this and put anything we say into some kind of record. And I don't know the future of what this will become, but I also believe in the power of just telling your story. Not just to me, but to anybody. And I think that it's allowed me to kind of have this kind of little cool thing back into my work. But at the same time, what I love about it is it's giving you and me something to do in this kind of weird, waiting for recurrence, Lynparza deserty thing that we're in.
Yeah, no, it's really good.
Yeah, so
I appreciate you doing it too, Paula, you know.
It's my pleasure. You haven't heard the questions yet.
Okay, yeah, that's true.
There shouldn't be anything that's a surprise. And but in general, like, I mean, as much as your life history is awesome, what we want to mostly focus on is the ovarian cancer. But I'm going to ask you about autism for starting out. Just primarily how you understand that and your diagnosis, that kind of thing. And then primarily to the ovarian cancer. And what I've tried to do with those questions is take you through a more like a time frame kind of thing.
Right.
Break it down rather than saying ovarian cancer, what's up? Kind of, because they're like, oh,
well,
So anyways, okay, so first of all, how and when did you come to know yourself as being on the autism spectrum?
Well, I would say as a kid, but I didn't know what it was called then, you know.
Okay, yeah.
And I remember, like, as a young kid, even, I think on the farm, reading about an autistic kid and, you know, by himself rocking and very scared and very isolated and thinking, oh, how horrible, you know, that poor kid. But you know, I think I knew, you know, even in my grade school that I processed things differently. And I think Mom accommodated me and made me feel normal when I, you know, before I went to school. So but then when I went to school, I was different. You know, I didn't like recess. I didn't like kids running around and yelling and you know, but I think being sort of what now I know as a typical female, I just learned to be quiet and good and, you know, basically fly under the radar and didn't cause problems for the teachers or, you know, that kind of thing. But, you know, I think, you know, I knew I was different very early. And I think Mom knew even when I was a baby. But, you know, she took me to doctors and, oh, she's a perfectly nice little girl, which I was, but I also...
Niceness and autism are not like at all. Right?
Exclusive, but, you know, because I wasn't acting different, I was acting normally in that for, you know, 5 minutes they saw me, they thought, oh, she's normal, but...
Right.
And because Mom was, oh, sorry.
Oh, no, just for all the viewers.
You
were born in 1966.
Yeah, and because
Mom, so that's the time frame we're looking at.
Mom was very young. Oh well, you know, don't worry, she's fine. You know, don't worry about it. You know, probably kindly, but not actually very helpful.
For sure.
She wasn't getting any support.
No, absolutely not.
You know.
Yeah, for sure. And then how did that change? Like, I know that you had an official diagnosis, how many years ago now?
I was 49, so.
You were 49. And how did that diagnosis come about?
Well, I had, just before I was 40, I remember Uncle Doug. Well, there were a couple of things. People that weren't that close to me who sort of pointed it out, like Uncle Doug thought I was because I talked unnecessarily loudly. Which is interesting. And then is it Patrick's wife's sister, I think. No, yeah, maybe. Anyway,
yeah.
But worked with autistic kids, and she thought maybe I was.
Oh, I didn't know that. Huh.
But she thought, saw some similarities and
Yeah.
in what she saw every day in me. And then I remember, like, I think when I was just around 40, I thought, okay, well, let's look into this. And I remember calling somewhere and, are there any support? Oh, and I looked into getting tested, but it was going to be $2,000. And
what was it, like, what you've said that before, but what was $2,000? I don't remember that.
It was being tested by a psychiatrist.
Oh, so it wasn't covered by like any kind of provincial anything?
Oh, no. You want it, you pay for it completely. Yeah.
I wonder if that's changed.
Well, yeah, but not much. I mean, how I ended up getting diagnosed is sort of, oh, and then I called this place before and they said, oh, well, you're adjusting. You don't need anything. Yeah, I've adjusted with great effort over 40 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no, there's nothing for you. You don't need it,
Yeah.
So
you're coping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Only with family support and gigantic effort for 40 years. But thanks for listening. Anyway.
Thanks for playing.
Yeah. Anyway, so then later on, I kind of looked into it again, and how I ended up getting diagnosed and it being free is I went on the autism website, and then I found just a regular family doctor who was autistic himself, and he had a doctor. He's got access to all the resources in the world, and even he suspected he was, but even he had a very hard time getting diagnosed.
Really?
So, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah, really.
So what he did is because he did it he's not a psychiatrist, he's just a regular doctor, then the province, it's under medical care and the province covers it.
Oh, okay.
So
that's how you were, 49 then?
Yeah.
Okay.
But so, it's there, but it's not like, and his mission now is to, test as many autistic adults as he can. Because it's a great change in my lifetime that, kids are getting diagnosed even as babies now.
Right. Yeah. It's just all changed. Yeah.
Yeah. But there's still a lot of adults walking around just thinking they're abnormal and having lives with, who've never had the option. So he wants to make that more available to them.
Yeah.
So I was like, I found it, but only because I sort of was willing to keep looking. And
what did that diagnosis change anything about how you felt about yourself?
Well, it
either positively or negatively or neutrally, or
yes and no. It wasn't any surprise. There's all things I knew about myself, but it was kind of reassuring to have a label to put on them rather than just other, Lindsey's weird, Lindsey's troublesome, the other things I've thought about, Yeah, but, if there's no one, if you think about, there are lots of places in the world where they speak English or some form of English, right?
I forgot to start the other recording. Please just.
Oh, okay.
No worries. The Zoom is going. And I'm just going to do this. Okay. Now we're just doing this as well as a backup. No, don't worry. I know the Zoom is gone. I just triple backed up. I'm sorry.
Okay. That's fine. Yeah. So it's sort of like, so there's lots of places in the world where they speak English. Where you could move and you could, without learning another language, you could basically understand what's going on. But you could move somewhere else, but then the rest of the culture could be very different.
Yeah.
So, you speak the language, you could get along, but, or, not you, but anybody.
Yeah.
It's how, it would still take more effort to fit in with that culture that's different from what you're used to,
Yeah. And is that you saying that that's what it felt like?
Yeah.
Not to say like speaking the language, but not knowing the culture.
Yeah, kind of like that.
That's a really cool analogy, actually. I hadn't thought of that.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
But, you know.
You're an anthropologist at heart. I knew it.
Yeah, it's in there. Yeah.
It's in there.
It's in there.
What do you think has been the biggest challenge as an adult about being autistic? And by the way, do you prefer to be called Asperger's, or how? I guess I should ask you about language first.
No, that's fine.
Okay, which one?
I think just first adult with autism. Yeah.
Okay, that's good to know. I should have asked that first. Sorry.
No, that's fine.
I'm a little rusty.
Yeah, no, I think no, it's fine. You know, and I think we can get sort of, not you and I, but you know, the culture in general can get too hung up on those things. Like, just call me Lindsey, and I want to work, and I want. You know, and you know, another thought I've had recently is, don't call it special needs. We all have human needs.
Yeah.
You know, they're just different ways of meeting them.
Exactly. You know. Oh my God, I got bumper stickers coming out of my ears here. We need to stop right now. I'm not going to ask you anything else.
Okay, just go make up your bumper stickers.
That's all right. Let's go get the print cut t-shirts. So.
Yeah. No, really. I mean, you know, because special needs sort of sounds like, oh, it's such a bother, and you know, the rest of us don't need those things.
And aren't I lovely for filling them, for being for filling your special needs? Yeah.
Yeah, like it's not a, you know, needing employment, needing decent housing aren't special needs.
Yeah, and love and yeah,
community, and you know.
Yeah, security, all those other. Excuse me, I'm eating.
That's okay.
Super professional here, but I wanted to make a Sunday conversation, not.
That's right. Company.
My microphone speaking.
Yeah. Sorry, what was the question? I'm gonna go.
What are the best things that you discovered about yourself, as like what is really neat about or that you like about yourself that is related specifically to autism, do you think?
Well, I think learning to deal with autism, you know, just like dealing with it, I learned to have very strong, I think, old-fashioned work ethic.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, and sort of maybe an independence that, you know, if I want something, I'm going to decide to do it, and I'm going to work hard on. If other people want to support it, great, but you know, but I don't need a group to say, yeah, that's an okay thing to do, or you know. Yeah. So yeah, kind of self-responsibility, I think. Yeah.
Well, I can certainly see that in you for sure. So for you, with your diagnosis of ovarian cancer, when in your mind did you suspect you first might be sick or something might be kind of off? And you don't have to give me personal, like icky, you know, physical detail. That's not what we're talking about here.
No, I know.
I want you to. No, so just like when did you think that, or when did you maybe realize like this is something is not good here?
Well, I think it isn't icky, but the main thing was that I kept having to go back, and you know, I was having trouble breathing. I kept having to go back and get inhaler after inhaler after inhaler, and it had help a bit in, you know, in the moment, but you know, it never got better.
Yeah.
And you know, I think you were there, and you know, walking, you know, I'm in good condition, good physical condition, and walking across a parking lot, I had to stop. And you know, just
when I was there, I remember that too. Yeah. That was very shocking.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And you know, that one time I was coughing a lot, and one time remember I coughed so much and couldn't stop, so I had to go to the hospital in the middle of the night. You know, it was just, you know, so I think that was just this symptom that kept going and going and going and never really getting better.
If I remember, everybody was treating it as if it were happening like in the throat or in the lungs, right?
Right. Yeah. And then when I was in the hospital, they x-rayed my lungs, and no, perfectly fine. It wasn't actually that. But yeah, and some digestive difficulties. And then, so, they tried, okay, maybe you're allergic, going off lactose.
Oh,
Yeah.
God, I forgot about the lactose. I forgot about the cheese that you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. They got. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's right. They thought you were lactose intolerant for a while.
So, okay, that was something reasonable to try, but
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
yeah, if we can solve it with that, then. And I did end up finding a fairly expensive but decent cheese that I could lower no
You always
lactose.
like good cheese, so
Yeah.
I'm not surprised.
That's always been a thing that,
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was just sort of, so we basically had these symptoms, tried to treat them, but that wasn't actually the problem.
Yeah, they were treating like the manifestation of the symptom, and nobody was looking for the cause, right?
Right, not until, and then I remember we were going to go to, it was October, or anyway, the train auction. And
right,
so
you're gonna
yeah.
Yeah.
And then we were gonna just go before the train auction. And then I went to get the x-ray, or anyway, yeah, and then went in. And then, yeah, they went and got the resident doctor or something, and then I ended up not going to the train auction.
But how did you end up? If I remember, you were in the hospital when you were actually diagnosed for a couple of days, although didn't they keep you in the hospital for a few days and then
Oh, yeah.
Diagnosis? So
Yeah.
at the train auction, how did you go from the train auction to the hospital?
Well, we were going to go do the x-ray before, and then they said, called somebody in, and no, you can't. So I went, where did I go from there? I went to one hospital, but then they couldn't, because that's when they found all the fluid in my pleural cavity.
Right.
Couldn't deal with it there, so then they took me by ambulance to another hospital. Or where did they say? They told us to go somewhere, but it wasn't the right place, so we ended up going to the other hospital, and then they started draining. But
right.
and they tested it, and at first they didn't find any cancer, but then they tested it again, and they did. So
right. I guess you hear the term like cancer journey,
right?
Yeah. Does that term describe what your life has been like for the almost past year? Or are there more accurate terms, better terms, like a battle? Do you like living with? Do you like surviving? Like, what do you think about when you think of the last almost 3 years now? What's the kind of, what's the word that you would use, or the phrase that you would use? Or are there more than one?
Yeah, well, I think journey and surviving. I mean,
yeah.
Survivor from way back.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah, I mean, it's just been, yeah. Remember the doctor coming, we were bored. Which is actually a good thing in a hospital.
Yeah, that's right. You're feeling okay enough to be bored. You're probably doing okay. Yeah.
We just went to, it's a nice hospital, so we were going in sitting somewhere, and then the doctor came and found us, which wasn't good.
Right, when they tack you down, that's never a good sign.
No, doctors usually are flying it,
Yeah, usually you're chasing after them. Yeah. For sure.
So that's not good news.
And what did he say to you?
What did he say? Well, we were sitting somewhere, and then he took us in a lab room or something, private room, which was nice.
Oh, and, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and then it was closed for the day, but he got us in, and so it wouldn't have to be, out in public, basically, which was thoughtful. And
it was very thoughtful.
Yeah, and just sort of, we tested your fluid again, and it was cancer in it.
I take it you were surprised?
Yeah, no, I didn't. Well, because before I thought they said, oh, well, we tested it and there's no cancer. So I thought, okay, good. That's,
Yeah.
Yeah, I was kind of shocked. I mean, obviously I knew not well, but
yeah, yeah. And so do you remember do you remember any of your first kind of thoughts, or what did you first think about it?
well, it was sort of like an adrenaline rush and just kind of like, oh no, I got to get away from this, like, and
Get away from the cancer.
yeah,
Yeah.
that was sort of the first reaction, and like, not nervous, but just that kind of hyper,
Sure.
and
Like that fight or flight response, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
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 just, and I couldn't, no, this can't be right, I can't believe it, but yeah, and just kind of agitated,
Mm-hmm.
and sort of, okay, well, let's call people, and but no, I'm very glad he took us into that room, because it's uncomfortable enough without feeling like you're on
Public display.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in those like super early days, what were your expectations?
Oh, that's good.
We need to wait for the next session.
Yeah, no, I'm just
I don't want to cut you off about that. But
no.
yeah.
Well, I think I was feeling kind of, I don't know. I mean, I didn't know what, I didn't know where to, I assumed people would help me, but I didn't know sort of what came next or what to do.
Yeah.
And I was just really, really agitated, so I wasn't thinking it like clearly,
Sure. Yeah. I'm sure that happens to like
everybody.
I can't imagine who that wouldn't happen to in some manner. Like,
Yeah.
I can't imagine like, oh yeah, cool. It's cool. No worries. Not agitated.
Yeah.
Cool. So
Okay.
who or what, if anything, or
Mhm.
anyone, helped you make sense of things in those early days?
Like when I was a kid, you mean?
No,
Or
with
no?
the cancer, just after you were diagnosed.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Andy was there. I think that was a big, that was a big help. And, just having, I mean, he's very supportive, but just the fact of having somebody there who, besides the doctor, who is nice, but, he's got to go on being a doctor somewhere else, and can't,
Good job. Yeah.
can't stay around him, so having Andy there, having, you and Donna to call, and, I think just having, having family around was the biggest thing, because
Yeah.
it was freaking out in my head, of course, and
What was
surprisingly,
going on in your head? Do you remember?
just like,
Or was it just still like super agitated?
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah. Yeah, it was just,
The audience may not see this video, so the hands are up, the fingers are spread, and the eyes are open wide, and I think we all recognize that.
Yeah.
That is the universal symbol for what the fuck.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I don't think doesn't need any translation.
Everybody knows. Translation. In all languages, that's what that means.
Yeah.
So as you remember, I was there on that first day at that appointment when we went to the Tom Baker Cancer Center.
Yeah.
But what do you remember about that first day? Other than all the baskets.
Yeah.
Remember shopping all the baskets?
Oh yeah, that was fun. Yeah, no, I remember you and Donna being there, and that was huge help. Really, and it made it sort of, of course I'm stressed out, like every human who has ever had cancer, I'm sure, but
for sure.
But of course, but that made it a lot better, and I remember and just feeling really supported, and that also made the autistic stuff better, because I had, if I'd been sitting there just by myself, then all the noise and all the conversations and the people moving would have been a lot more stressful.
Yeah.
So I
Because we
sort of
waited a long time. Like that appointment in my memory went on forever. Like it was a freaking day-long thing, and they kept doing all this other shit to you too, right? I mean,
yeah,
in my memory, it was one after another after another after another thing.
yeah. No, it was, that made it a lot less stressful.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I think the appointment, like the actual interactions themselves weren't stressful. It was just all the waiting, and
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
you know, that was the stressful part, really. Just like, I mean, and you know, I mean, my rational self, well, of course, I'm not the only patient here. They have other things to do, but you know, part of myself is just like, can we just do this, please? Like, you know, we have to wait all. Yeah. But you know, I knew it wasn't, you know, but yeah, just the waiting I found more stressful, I think. But having family there made that a lot better.
Yeah. Yeah. Other than the waiting,
Mm-hmm.
is there anything specific that specifically, and again, in those sort of early days, that didn't work about the way that you were offered treatment, or your illness was explained to you, or not offered, or not explained, or was it, or as you said, were the interactions with the doctors good? It was just the environment that was not.
Yeah, well, I think this was sort of, well, this was just before surgery, but the time when we like waited 3 hours and then, oh, do you mind, we're going to skip the teaching because we're out of time now. That wasn't awesome.
Oh, they were skipping teaching you.
Yeah.
Yeah. What were they
But
teaching? It was teaching about the surgery, right?
Right, yeah, surgery orientation. Here's the booklet, you know.
Yeah,
but you know, we waited 3.5 hours.
I know.
You know, but I don't think that's an autism thing. I think that's just over scheduling and.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. If you could change something in those sort of early days at the Tom Baker Center time,
Mm-hmm.
for specifically for people who are on the spectrum, understanding, as we all know, that they're not the same, and that everybody doesn't have the same need. Are there things that you would specifically change or wish for or dream for, not just for yourself but for others, that went differently? That, let me try that again.
I think I know where you're going.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. I think.
Yeah. How do you think that you would change things, and how would they specifically help people on the spectrum?
Well, I think maybe some smaller, like sort of like in libraries, you know, they have, you know, they don't know ongoing shit anymore, but you know, they have quiet areas.
Yeah, exactly. Since Lindsey loves libraries, that was good. No,
yeah, if you're gonna chat,
read a book
over there, you know, but just sort of quieter areas. So, because there were times I felt overwhelmed by just all the motion, all the, you know, people moving around, and you know, and of course, my anxiety level is up. So
for sure. Yeah.
You know, so it would have been nice to have. And then, you know, they had a TV on, which is nice to have something for people to watch if they're bored, but also means there's just more noise, you know.
Yeah.
So I'd say, I mean, yeah, the dream thing would be to have a private room, but of course that's.
I think we should, you know, dream outrageously. I think it's okay.
Yeah,
it's okay to do that. Yeah.
But you know, I mean, you know, could I handle the noise and the crowds? And of course, but I think about with employment too is that, you know, identical doesn't mean equal, because you know, like the average person, whoever that is, I don't know if I've met one yet, but
not on this screen anyway. Nobody on this Zoom call.
But you know, for me, with, you know, and not, you know, nobody's being rude, nobody's being, you know, doing anything wrong, but it's just a lot of people crowded into a small space. You're going to have multiple conversations. You're going to have more. So
And everybody's freaking out because they've got cancer.
everybody's stressed.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
So, it's not, oh, poor me, I'm worse off, but just all the, cross conversations and people moving around and noise stressed me out more than it would have an average person. So
yeah.
So more quiet would make it more equal.
Yeah. No, I think that's a really, really, really good point. Really good point. Again, thinking about sort of the earlier days, but this question kind of goes through your whole journey. What do members of your oncology team not know about you that you wish that they did?
Well, I think just how I process. Everybody was really good, but just that it takes me longer to process things sometimes. Like, my hearing is fine. I can hear that somebody said something, but if I don't react like within the second, it doesn't mean I'm being rude or not, not understanding you. It just takes me longer to process.
Yeah.
Sometimes I can seem like I'm not responding, but and well, at first, I didn't like Dr. Cameron very much. Yeah, perfectly honest.
That's your surgeon and the chief, the head honcho for your team.
Yeah. She really grew on me, but at first I felt she was. Not that you have to be best friends with your surgeon, but just at first,
for sure.
She seemed kind of cold and harsh and like, okay, you got cancer, go,
Yeah.
And other doctors,
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, I think she really grew on me though. But no, I think that was what helped was just what doctors who were willing to sort of relate to me more as a person rather than, feeling more like you're Lindsey with cancer rather than you're
and you're just cancer.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. That makes a ton of sense. And I think a lot of people would feel that way too. I don't think that's unique either.
Yeah.
That human connection is just so essential. So to providing good care, obviously.
Yeah. And just more of the emotional part of it.
Yeah.
Side note, but I'm vehemently against the government saying, "Oh, well, that's outpatient. Make people pay for it." Like,
that's crazy. Yeah, is that happening now in Alberta?
I don't think so.
Or is it just something threatening?
This isn't, cosmetic surgery. This is
like, a little off the top, please.
Anyway, so.
And then, obviously, I remember about the hair.
The hair. So that was, that's another sort of standout memory. Like a moment, like being in the shower and like, okay, I just did that and I got a handful of hair. Like,
and that was at my house.
Yeah.
Right. Just at Christmas. Yeah.
That's right. Just like, okay. And then just deciding, okay, I'm getting this shaved off. Like,
yeah.
That was actually really good.
Getting shaved was a relief.
Yeah. Cause it's just like, it was more stressful to just keep going. Like, okay,
hands like that. Yeah,
let's just get it over with and get it. And that felt a lot better actually.
Yeah.
Good. I mean, it felt better to be bald than to, just have handfuls of hair.
It's more in control, right? Like when your hair is falling out, you have no control over it.
Right.
But when you're putting on a hat or something, it's like, this is a choice.
Yeah. This is what I choose to wear. And
what I choose to wear. Yeah.
And the wig was great and the woman was great.
Oh, she was awesome. I loved her. Yeah, and she was so lovely to include me, I think, like to she would include it with the video chat to help you make that choice. So
that was a great experience.
So about your surgery, how did you prepare for it? In your mind, in your heart, in your house, in your however?
Yeah. Well, I think it was sort of, okay, good, this is the next step, and then it's part of getting better. And
right.
you know, I felt positive about it.
Mm-hmm.
And then having you there was a big help. Because,
Yeah.
you know, somebody, you know, just
I was so
is it
glad
would
to be there.
take a while, because they're cutting through your core. So it's going to go well to get the muscles back up and stuff. So
For sure.
yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
Is
It's a
it
huge surgery. It's a huge surgery.
yeah,
Yeah.
you know, and I think, you know, I was nervous about it in a way, but then, you know, but this is, you know, this is something that's going to make it better. And,
Yeah. Yeah. It was a on the way to getting better, as you say. Yeah.
right.
Yeah. For sure.
You know, it needed to happen, and glad to, you know, need to get the disease parts out.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
But no, it was good, and I was so lucky because, you know, you and like extremely lucky because it had been like 2 weeks. I think originally it was supposed to be like a couple of weeks later.
That's right. And they moved it up. They did
Yeah.
move it up. It was just it was like what, the 24th of February or something. It was just
Yeah.
at the end. Yeah.
Just
Yeah,
before.
just at the end of the other world.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, but it could have been a couple of weeks later. Might not have gotten anybody. You know.
No, I don't think you would have. And I know that they wouldn't have let me in, like, to stay with you right after at the ICU or anything.
Oh no. And then, yeah. So I was very lucky.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. I feel that way too. So.
And I was lucky because Donna could get you and herself, and you know, got
We got our special passes.
yeah. No, really, but that is a big.
Oh, it made a difference, didn't it?
It's a huge difference.
Yeah. Yeah.
I remember everybody standing around when before I went in, and then thinking, okay, we've all gone to the UFC, and that was kind of fun. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. So are there things that would have made your specifically about your surgery, about things that would have made your experience better?
Hard to say. I mean, I got you guys there before. I got you after,
Yeah.
and I was being all loopy and.
Yeah, you were pretty funny.
I was like, "Grr." And I kept, but you know, it's funny because I remember that. I remember staying, you know, I'm sitting down at the side of the road, and that's okay.
That was hilarious. I love that.
I'll get up again soon.
Yeah, you said I'm just lying down on the side of the road, but I'll get up again soon. I'm like, no, it's hard to go. I know.
Where are you going, Lindsey? Oh, I don't know. I gotta get up. And
Yeah.
it was a weird state because I was gonna, but I was also like, I gotta get moving here.
Yeah, and the nurse told you to sit still.
Yeah.
You're like, I gotta go. And the nurse was like, she sit still. I'm like, we're good. Oh.
Good luck by telling her that.
Yeah, I know.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Lots of luck with that one, lady. So, okay. This question makes sense. What did or do you need vis-a-vis your actual surgery or chemo specifically that did not happen, or could have happened differently, that you would have again even in a perfect world? Oh, and by the way, we've got 5 minutes left. It's going to kick us off again. So
Okay.
one more round. Sorry.
That's okay.
Okay.
I think just more sort of like how to deal with day 4 between days 1 to 3 afterwards. You know, on lots of drugs, you don't feel much of anything, but then they just sort of cut off, and day 4 is like so just
chemo.
Yeah.
Okay.
After chemo, you know, just sort of how to deal with that last half of the first week better.
Right. Yeah.
Which, you know, you learn as you go along, but sort of more, you know, and there was lots of things about the drugs, but just how to deal with, okay, you wake up on day 4 and you feel like X, how do you deal with that?
Right. Yeah. now you took off time off work, obviously, for
Yeah.
your chemo, your surgery, and your chemo.
Yeah.
Do you remember exactly how long you were off work?
It was like 11 and a half, it was almost a year.
It was almost exactly, yeah, that's sort of my memory as well.
And I was like, you know, lucky to have, I was on short-term disability at first and then went on to long-term disability. So
yeah, yeah.
if it had to happen, that was a good time in my life when I had those things.
Yeah, because you have a good job now with benefits, right?
Yeah.
Your benefits turned out to be just like amazing for you.
Oh yeah. Well, it made it, yeah. And not everybody has that. And then they end up working after chemo, which isn't great.
No.
It wouldn't be safe during a pandemic.
No, yeah. Yeah, so your chemos after your surgery were in the pandemic.
Yeah.
So no bring a friend.
No, no friends.
Yeah. Just chit chat on the phone.
You know, I mean, it was fine. You know, I could work on things and then the first ones, there's a nice cafeteria or coffee, so we could go and have a treat after, but then that closed. So we bring again, first world problem,
I know, right? Where am I going to get my brownies?
Yeah. But if,
it makes a difference, doesn't it? Yeah.
So I've started bringing my own, which is fine, but it was just more just how it felt like, it felt sort of like you're going into this thing and you're not sure, like the sort of comforting things they put around it were kind of gone. So
yeah. The things
which is
mitigate the scariness were gone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure. And then after, what do you remember about the allergic reaction that you had when you had your fourth session? Well, your last chemo session ended up being your last.
Yeah. Oh, that was bonkers because I went in and it started normally, and it was fine reading my book, doing whatever, and then I
think we were on the phone, probably.
Yeah.
Because I think it happened when we were on the phone, actually.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I started feeling like really itchy, really like adrenaline kind of thing, and then I, they had a button you could push if you needed help, and so I pushed it because this is not normal. This is
I need help. Yeah.
And then what I remember, and then they gave me, they went into emergency mode and gave me something, and then I remember just being after that. And, and then they said,
I remember that too. I'm like, what did you give her?
Yeah.
You were Daddy Kathy. You were.
Yeah, I was just.
Yeah, for sure.
And some kind of adrenaline, or I don't know what they gave me, but
yeah.
Saying, I don't have to keep talking, and so I called you.
I remember the nurse saying, "You don't have to talk." I'm like, "No, she's talking. I'm happy."
Yeah. Yeah. So that was that. Yeah, that was bonkers. And then I was supposed to be there 3 hours, and I was there 5 or something.
Yeah, they kept sure you weren't going to do anything weird on them. So
yeah,
weirder.
Weirder. That was
weirder.
They passed weird pretty early.
Yeah, exactly.
No, that was just my body freaking out and saying, "No, I'm done. No more of this."
Exactly. Thanks. Thanks. We're done.
Yeah.
So after that came Lynparza.
Oh yeah.
Tell me
that
about
was good.
Lynparza. What did you first hear about it? What did you understand about it? Because you had done special testing, right? They tested you. You did the BRCA testing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did that. And then it took forever to hear, but finally got that back, and I'm very happy. No, it's just a one-off basically. And then Lynparza, I remember them like, okay, you're done chemo now, but we have something to offer you, and they're very happy about that, which is they should be,
And they were happy about it too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that too. Yeah.
For most of history, it's been chemo, surgery. Good luck,
Yeah, chemo. But yeah.
Check in once in a while, but there's, so that was really good. There was a lot of a lot of paperwork and stuff, but that, it was fine. And then I remember, great shock at how much, like $100 a pill.
Right. Yeah. Like it's about $8,000 a month.
I know. Like, how many humans can afford that? Like,
nobody I know.
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's covered. It is covered by the drug company, right?
So no, it can be, but I think they have some sort of income thing and you pay a certain percentage or whatever. But it was lucky because, we tried with Sun Life and then they ended up covering it all.
Yeah, they even covered the filling fee, I think, right?
Yeah, I think AstraZeneca covers the filling fee.
Yeah.
And then
basically no money out of your pocket.
No, which is amazing because.
Which is amazing, yeah.
And then watching the neutrophils a lot.
Right. Yeah, watching your blood counts and making sure nothing wonky was going on. Was going on. So, and you recently discovered that Lynparza, when we first heard about it, was made for just 2 years. That was its mandate and its funding.
Yeah.
And that was our understanding.
Mm-hmm.
And then we recently learned, in a kind of weird way, almost an afterthought, which we can write about later, but that it has been extended for some unknown amount of time.
Yeah, which is good.
And you feel good about that?
Yeah, I can handle it, and it's protecting me from cancer and cancer returning.
Right.
Yeah. Like stay on it as long as I can.
Yeah. For sure. Since October 2019 to now, how or has your understanding of ovarian cancer changed in these almost 3 years?
Well, I think it's from just something that is kind of alien to, okay, this is part of my life and this is just something that part of my life journey kind of feeling.
Yeah.
At first it was sort of, what?
Yeah. The old WTF response, I think.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And I think, and at first, like before that, I sort of thought, well, if I take care of myself and I stay healthy, cancer won't happen. And obviously it does.
Yeah.
Kind of breaking that. But I think, good health habits are helping me survive it and deal with it. And
amen. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
No, really.
Yeah, absolutely, honey. I agree. How do you think that being autistic plays a part in your cancer journey?
Well, I think like some sort of things you see in the media more for breast cancer, but a lot of it is like I'd prefer to go on the walk with you and Donna in High River rather than even without even taking COVID out of it. I'd still rather.
Oh, yeah, the fundraising walk. Yeah,
the fundraising walk.
We've already got the t-shirts. So
I'd rather go with you and Donna and Henry than like 300, even very nice strangers.
Henry's a dog, everybody, just for all of y'all that are listening out there.
All the dog.
Henry the dog. So you prefer the smaller family group than the big.
Quieter, or just I'm sure they're all great people, but I just But so I think for things like I'm not sure I would have done the support group anyway, and just a lot of the like in the waiting room with a lot of people around, all fine, but just I think I would prefer quiet talking to one person or a couple of people. Yeah. That's been that's been my whole life.
Yeah.
a grade school teacher saying, yeah, you're great at one-on-one, but you're not really good in groups. And yep, you got me. You know?
That's right.
That's me. Yep.
So what are you going to do about it?
That's right.
That's right. That's right. So now in this place in your journey where you are now,
Yeah.
how do you take care of yourself, not just physically, but sort of emotionally, spiritually, any other way?
Well, I think it's just, getting back to, getting strong, physically strong again. But and that's physical part, but it's also like, that's me, this is the real me. It's not just the real me, but this is Lindsey, and something's happening, but like not letting the cancer run my life. Like,
Yeah.
I'm Lindsey with cancer, not just, oh, I have had cancer, so I can't do X. And yes, I can. And
Yeah.
just like living like I want and dealing with cancer as it goes. And I'm lucky to have Lynparza that I can do that. And
Yeah.
and that's but just sort of thinking of myself as a strong person who's dealing with this issue rather than.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Absolutely. That's just wonderful. So what do you hope for yourself? What do you worry about?
Well, I hope just keep going as I'm going, as I am. And of course I worry about the cancer returning, like everybody with cancer ever,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Me too.
Yeah.
Worry about that for you.
Yeah, but but what I hope is just keep living my life as I want to, and keeping my body strong and just sort of have it as something I'm unfortunately need to deal with. I
Yeah.
remember reading an article a long time ago, somebody with a chronic disease, and just saw it as an unpleasant part-time job. Like,
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it, isn't it?
yeah, it's not fun. I gotta do it. It's just okay.
Yeah, and a crappy boss too.
That's right.
Cancer's a shitty boss. Let's just say that. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
sure,
a good way of putting it. Yeah.
it's not fun, but I'll do. I just do it and live the rest of my life.
Yeah. If you were dreaming up something, cancer care for people on the spectrum, and budget was no option.
Yeah.
Other than the private rooms, which we spoke about, and a quieter waiting space, and built-in libraries.
Oh yeah.
And snacks, and nice people to give us snacks.
Yeah.
What else do we need?
Well, I think what made a difference was the doctors who sort of had more patience, had more time to let me process things.
Yeah.
What stressed me out was the ones who seemed to be in a tearing hurry, like they couldn't wait to get finished and move on to the next thing.
Yeah.
So
and that's why I think we've done that workaround of me taking notes.
Oh yeah, that's a huge help.
With the technology, which is kind of wonky sometimes.
Yeah, but helpful.
Yeah,
no, that's a huge help.
Yeah, so that you can concentrate, but it's a lot. I think we all take about 10% of it in what the doctor says, and they say one word, and that goes on a loop on our head, and then we just dig in and write it. So
yeah,
it's good to have multiple witnesses for sure.
Oh yeah, no, that helps a lot.
Yeah.
So I think that's a big help, and just sort of the patience. So you're like, okay, the stuff cold, but it's my first time hearing it, so.
Yeah, for sure. Like, can you just start with where the hell my ovaries are, please?
Yeah.
And how that got to my lung fluid? Can we just like
Yeah.
start to roll that tape back? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
So I think that helped.
Yeah.
You know, having you there helps a lot. And but just but also the doctors who seem to have time, who seem to like not being in a tearing hurry.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's not easy either, obviously. But are there any ways of conveying the information? Do you think that you would respond better if they handed you written information? Like you told us about the time where they didn't have time to teach you. I'm like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's a calling. It's like, here's a pamphlet on the rest of your life. Go with God, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But do you think for you it would have been beneficial to have anything written or visual or a check back in or follow-up phone call or anything?
Well, the written stuff helped a lot because then I can go read it later after leisure and think about it. Yeah, so written stuff's really good. Checklists, could get like the booklets I found really helpful because I can only absorb so much in the 10 minutes or whatever. But
yeah.
So that that was helpful. I think, and just more about and the home care was really good.
Yeah. So how did you utilize home care?
Well, they came like after I had when I went home from the hospital and I still had the drain in my back, they came by and
that's right. They came to drain it for you.
Yeah, clean that out and drain it and that was really good.
Right.
No, I think it's just like what's good for autistic people with cancer would be good for everybody.
Yeah.
It's an extremely stressful thing for every human who has ever had it.
Right.
So
you're right. Yeah.
I think it's just of course doctors vary on how communicative but I think the soft skills matter a lot in cancer care.
Absolutely.
You assume they're competent and know what they're talking about, but I think just the times it was good, which was most of the time, were times when they were focused on the patient, on me, which sounds, but the time it wasn't good was the one who was in a giant hurry and that was really focused on himself getting through it as fast as he could.
Yeah.
So I think, and that was sort of a crash course for everyone. Like, okay, we can't go in, we have to do this by phone. How are we going to do it?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It's the assembling the airplane while we're flying it business, right?
Yeah. So, it's not, it's just, but I think, going like in medical schools, some are just on marks, and of course they need to have that intelligence, but it's also, for stuff like cancer care, it's very important to know, to have the people skills and, and I've certainly read a lot of horror stories about people with autism in hospitals and just having a horrendous time. And, not because anybody was being particularly horrible, but because it just is not set up for you and you can't. It would have been like at night in the hospital, it would have been nice to have more quiet, but.
You went to the ER recently.
Well, not just the ER, but even sleeping.
Yeah.
I don't know how you do that, but.
Yeah.
But that can't be good for anybody, at the time in your life when you really need sleep.
Even if they give you earphones or something, like I know that they have to keep busy, right? But even if they give you a place to,
just,
There should be a way of doing this, right?
yeah, and I think that'd be good for everyone, really.
I would think so. I mean, everybody has a problem with that, but yeah. So it's more like the doctors would have to know that you need more time processing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just, so, more training possibly,
Yeah.
and just,
Or maybe even like just a more comprehensive intake,
yeah,
right? I mean, like just asking, like, I have these patient navigators sometimes, that kind of can help mediate the process. But
yeah,
yeah, it's like being thrown in the swimming pool, and that was my experience as an outside supportive person, not just.
oh, yeah,
I imagine what it was like for you, hon. So
yeah, no, it was that, and then, okay, good, and it's just, I don't know. I mean, I was lucky I had all the family around, including you, and but
yeah,
I think it could have been a whole lot more stressful otherwise.
yeah, for sure. I was so grateful we were able to be there. So
Yeah.
yeah, awesome.
Yeah,
You did awesome.
I think it's great.
I'm so proud of you.
Oh, thank you.
If you have other things that you want to say at another time,
Yeah.
jot them down, and we can do a little interview after work for 20 minutes or whatever.
Yeah.
Or this may die and I may have to find it. So we'll see if I manage to save everything first, but
Okay.
that's the plan.
Yeah.
But it's going to kick us off in 2 minutes.
Okay.
What are you going to do for the rest of the afternoon?
Go out and do our normal, go shopping and
Yeah.
stay,
Okay.
stay cool.
Yeah, stay cool.
I know.
Lots of air conditioning in the car too, so
Yeah, that's good.
yeah. For sure. All right, my love. Thank you so much. I will.
Thank you, hon.
This in the next few days, I imagine, and I will get back to you.
Okay, well, great, great. It was great.
Any afterthoughts, please let me know all of them. I want to know all of it.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, thank you for doing it, hon.
I love you.
Love you too, sweetie.
I'll talk soon.
Yeah.
Bye.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.